Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game between the current rank 7, I think he is, DD1883. He's a Chinese player, he changes his name a bit. I don't know what this stands for. He's playing Don 100, which just came out, sort of. He's going up against ThreeSix, playing 119Y. So we'll go through the deck reviews, then we'll get back to it. Right, so this is ThreeSix's deck reviews, playing 119Y. 119Y, pretty strong div. It's a little bit hard to play, frankly. I do think it's like a really good div, but it is kind of tricky to play because if you look away for a second and one of these tanks dies, you basically might as well uninstall the game. But apart from that, like it is an S tier div in my opinion. We'll go through the deck review. I'm not sure how useful that can be really because I don't play the div that much. My tank slop is not good enough basically. Yeah, so 2 cards of supply I think is probably not enough. In terms of CVs, you've got 2, 4, 7. Now, I honestly would bring this because you can buy 2 of them at the start for 80 points, which is the price of this. And on Black Forest, you want to open 2 CVs, right? One for the right, one for the left, depending on how you're doing it, right? And so I think you need this. But then you've only got 6 CVs, which I think is fine. I think 5 is the minimum. Supply, you probably want 3 cards of supply because you've got a load of heavy tanks and you want the game to go late. The issue is, of course, it's expensive. Full infantry tab, I think, is reasonable. Spetsnaz OP, so the idea is these are 100 kilometers an hour forward deployment, whereas this is 90, as is this. So you need the 100 in some fashion, and it's good in good AT. So Periapio you need, Cardamote Stroke you need, and like these are all downvetted because you just don't get a lot of infantry, so I think that's fair enough. The Mr. Beans, do you need 4 of them? It's a 1 point slot. This is actually good now. Because the supply cost is no longer 10 billion years and the reload time is not 6 minutes anymore. So you might want to consider swapping these out for this. The thing is, it's so expensive, so if you can do without it, it's probably better to do without it. Anyway, CVs, tier EUDs, these should all be at 1 vet. Somebody asked me on Warno Reddit, he was like, what vet should I have my tanks in 119Y? They should be at 1 vet. He's like, yeah, but I don't get enough. Right, but so I get more tanks, but they die. So okay, have fun. You know. Anyway, this one can be at 2 vet because it's the cheap one that you bring at the start of the game, or you can have it at 1 vet. I mean, yeah. These two, it's basically pick one. I prefer this one because it's more mobile. This is more of a static thing, static defense thing. You need the BRM1K so your tanks can see. It is useful to have the BRDM too, so that you can send it around the sides and wind people up. I would recommend 1 betting this, otherwise it's going to be useless, because the point is it's a satchel team that runs in to throw satchel. And if that's at no vet, it's going to immediately get stressed out and die. And like, you actually do have a lot of infantry because these are all at no vet, so I think this should be at 1 vet. This is super nice to have, right? Super nice to have. But but yeah, I think you need that 3rd card of supply. So but this is so nice to have because it slows the game down because you just like send a couple around the sides. It's great for covering ground at the start because this isn't cheap, right? It is super nice to have. AA 8 Tunguskas. Is it? I mean, I would upvet that because you don't need 9 Iglas. You can go 8 Tunguskas, or you can go 4 Tunguskas, 5 Strela 10Ms, because the point is that the Tunguska is better, but it costs 45 points more. And it is better, right? So it can be worth bringing the Strela 10M. So that, like, because it's fire and forget. I mean, the Tunguska will shred a heli rush. Strela 10M's a little bit cheaper. It's up to you. You can bring 8 Tunguskas if you want. I'm pretty sure Skate used to. Lots of rocket helos. Yeah, I mean, honestly, this thing is super nice. And listen, you need that third card of supply. And it's like, this is for killing tanks. You're pretty good at killing tanks. This team. Your tanks kill the enemy tanks. So it's hard to make this decision. I obviously this one's the best one because it's got the longest range. So I understand why there's 3 cards of that and 1 card of the other one. And like yes, you can pay more to get the gun that doesn't turn properly, but the 10% ECM. I personally would do this, and then still not have enough. Whatever, man. I'll probably do that. 6 fighters is probably reasonable. This is still 1 per card. Unfortunately, this is a nice bomber. It's nice to have a bomber. It's just so hard without that 3rd card of supply. So it's gotta be this, hasn't it? It's gotta be this. But I don't know. Basically, if you're running out of supply, bring another card of supply. If you're not, then it's fine. Leave it like this. Great, problem solved. I've pushed the onus onto the person and abdicated responsibility. I love corpo speak. Anyway, his opponent, DD1883, he's like rank 4 at the moment. He's playing Don 100. I have a 1.5 hour guide to Don 100. Goes through it in excruciating detail with loads and loads of examples and stuff. I've got a funny story about this guy. I'll tell it during the game. The way he's built his infantry tab is garbage. Well, one thing that has changed since I made the guide, right, is that so I bring 2 cards of Motostrelky MVD, and I'm like, I need the AT, even though the AT isn't that good. They actually added a dedicated AT unit. Did I make that up? The hell, where did it... Oh, there it is. So bringing this instead of the extra card of Motostrelky MVD makes sense. But yeah, like 8 Ursons is really dumb. I just watched the guide. I don't want to sort of spend... I like not bringing the coffin launchers. Prioritizing the... You know, you probably want 4 of these. Just watch the guide, right? It's 1.5 hours long. And it covers it. Anyway, let's go in-game. Oh, these have mediocre stealth now, so they might actually be useful, but 3-point slots. Right, so Dom 100 was ass, and then there was a patch which buffed them quite a bit. The T62s all got 10 points cheaper, and they got a unit with double RPG, thus negating some of the problems that the division has. In terms of the way he builds his deck, he builds it wrong, frankly. But yeah, this guy's pretty good. I've got a funny story about him. I guess I'll tell it during the game. 3-6, also a pretty decent player. His div is definitely better. His div is definitely better. He's on the wrong side though. So if you're the heavy tank div, you want to be on this side because red gets Fedor at the start and blue gets center. So if you're the heavy tank div, you want to be on this side because yes, red will get into Boris, but you can push him out pretty easily with the coffin launches he doesn't bring or whatever. But or the burrito he doesn't bring. And then when you're fighting for Fedor, obviously the div with the better tanks is going to win because it's just a flat field. And so it's better to be the guy attacking this zone if you've got the better tanks than the guy defending this zone, because it means that then you got to grind for Boris if you're the heavy tank div. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, basically, better player, better div. So it should be a pretty interesting game. In terms of the deployments, we've got standard kind of recon picket line here, followed up by a bunch of unspeakable ones, 30mm, T62s, which he brings at 2 vet, which is a mistake, frankly, because you run out of tanks pretty fast. The Ural thing, and the Belazor Jeep. Is there not a cheaper... Is the Chaika not the same price? I didn't spend too long on the Don 100 deck review because I've got a guide out for that, so you should just watch the guide. Resvedka Safari, BRDM2, some more T62s, right. Switching to his opponent, we've got some forward deployment. Now, the thing is, right, the one he's not bought, the Spetsnaz OP, goes at 100 kilometers an hour, and you have airborne forward deployment and your opponent doesn't. So you should get Spetsnaz OP in there at the start. The thing is that they will probably open, if you're the Don 100 player, like, where's the bear cuts? He should be opening bear cuts. 2 bear cuts and a fighter to protect them. The bear cut helicopters to shred the enemy's airborne forward deployment. So I get the impression he hasn't played this div that much, because the double bear cut thing is watch the guide. It's a really good guide. I put a lot of time into it. Anyway, so yeah, recon, recon BMP2s, quite a bit of recon, another BMP2 here. And then you want some, like, if you're planning on fighting this at the start, you want some TO55s. And so he doesn't bring the cheap CV. You don't want to open T80BVK, right? Because it's going to get blown up by bomber. It can be useful in very specific, like if you're playing Vertigo Duel or something, because there's a lot of lane brain in that. So you want to open the 40-point CVs, one for Anna, and then Boris if you get in there, one for Elena Fedor, and then the TO55s. And then you start buying the T80s, because the point is that at the start of the game your AA net isn't sufficient. So if you open this, you basically can't use it, because you're always so afraid of it getting hit by a bomber, and if you do use it, it might get hit by a bomber, so I don't agree with opening this. Also, you'll notice he just doesn't have any units. I assume he's opened Jet to cover this, which then means that 1/3 of your deployment is on this tank, and the Jet to protect this tank, although the Jet also protects a forward deployment, and the 2 AA pieces to protect this tank. So it's like half your deployment on this one tank, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. He just bought that now, I think, because it's just been a minute. I just skipped the part where they just drive in towards each other, because you all skip that part anyway. And now I can do the shilling, and you have to, the names are on the screen while the action's happening, so you've got no choice but to look at the names on the screen. These people are the reason the channel exists, so you should compliment them a lot, so make them feel good. Hello, I like money. Anyway, yeah, as you can see, these would have got in there first, even though this is 90 and that's 100. And imagine if he had the 100 one, it would have got in there, and then this would be dead. And it's like, okay, the bear cuts, but you were buying the fighter anyway to kill the bear cuts. So there should have been a Spetsnaz OP going down that road. Having said that, so well, where do I get the points to buy that? You don't open with the T80 BVK. This thing is pretty insane. It's really funny how these Soviet divs work, man. It's like every patch, every new DLC, they get another completely busted fighter. It's been like 3 in a row now. The Don 100 busted fighter, the 1Y busted fighter, and the was it the 17Y busted fighter? Because 1Y is the MiG-25 PD, and 17. No, it's not 17Y. It's 157Y that gets the TikTok. It's like here's your Soviet reservist slop with another completely broken fighter. 3 in a row is something. I mean, it's cool to get more units in the game. I just find it funny that the Soviets seem to have a seriously more lenient time with the equipment they receive compared to the Westoids. Like, you can make your comments about like the Westoid militaries now, but in 1989 they were just better. Like, there's no doubt about it. Literally the American power spike. Anyway. So, going pretty well for Blue so far. He's kept his zone here, and he is ahead on points because his opponent opened 285-point CV instead of the cheaper one, so he's not capped Anna. And he's rotating these units around successfully. usually, like, so this isn't a good place generally. I mean, obviously it should be in the trees, but if you're on the blue side, you don't know if the enemy's going to rush this or rush this. Although in this case, you can make a pretty educated guess. And what that means is that you're forced to protect both of them. And then you try and swing these guys over, and you find that you can't, because the only road's here, and red gets these buildings, so he puts an ATGM in. So that is annoying. In terms of the divs, honestly, Dom 100 is pretty good now. Since the changes, the T62 is getting 10 points cheaper, is very important. Because they will trade favourably against this. The reason they got cheaper, right, is because the rate of fire is crap. And you see, like, and then they miss. So I like the fact that the rate of fire is crap, but people just look at this 18 here and they're like, oh my god, it's broken. It's much more preferable to shoot 9 or 10 rounds. Look, they're losing at 2 there because they're just missing and because they fire so slow. Anyway, it doesn't make sense to have 2 of these here for obvious reasons. So that happens so often if you play the div a lot, which I did to make the guide, which I told you about. I don't know if I told you about that. So at least, so he's capped this now, and he's actually on the +1 because blue didn't. So basically, if you're blue, you don't actually open with the Bellasaur. You open with 2 of these because there's 60 points and the Bellasaur's 80. Like on Black Forest, you should generally always be opening 2 cheap CVs if you have that option. 1 for Anna and then the Boris push, and 1 for Elena Fedor. And if you're on the other side, Dimitri this one and Santa. Well, if you're on the other side, it's basically mandatory because you can't get the CV from here to there because of this road we spoke about and the fact that red has fire control on that most of the time. So, yeah, if you're the 119 player, you're actually pretty happy with how things are going now. Because, yes, blue owns all the zones, but you're better in the late game. Oh, he spotted that. Oh, okay, yeah, Grand Slam's radar here, that makes sense. You're better in the late game and you're not just sort of dead. So, that's nice. Yeah, the other thing is the Don 100 player, I'm pretty sure he only has like 1 bomber. So he's really going to struggle to kill the T80Us. If you play Don 100, you better have good smoke micro. Because these tanks don't have smoke and they're really slow. So, yeah. He's constantly got a fighter up, so I think he's just bought another one. But yeah, the Don 100 player does have options. He's got these long-range things. But in general, he will struggle to kill the tanks. And so the red player, I mean, he could buy a helicopter, right? And then, obviously, then the Tunguska moves up, but the tank moves back, and you sort of buy yourself a bit of time there. But I think red's doing a good job. I mean, I know I said blue's happy at the start. And, you know, he is. But as the game goes later, this is going to... What is going on there? Oh, yeah, they do this. You know, if you put 2 of them near each other. I had a cub, like, miss the other day because somebody hit him in the back. It's like, you know, I've been watching a lot of football recently because of the World Cup. And by a lot, I mean I've just been watching England games. And it's really unfair. Like, you jump for the ball, and the guy behind you pushes you. If we did that in the schoolyard, right, the teachers would have a go at you and say, this isn't the Premier League, you can't do that here. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so red doing pretty good, actually. He does need to keep... The point with the Tunguskas is the range is crap. So it does need to actually be with the tank. And he should always have a fighter up. He should always have a fighter up. Like, the SU went down because it ran out of fuel. Buy another one. It's more useful than the 2 RT pieces. Because if a bomber comes, it's just going to kill this. And the Tunguska ain't going to save it because the range isn't good enough. If the Tunguska might avenge it, it's not going to save it. And frankly, given that these are 310 points, people are usually quite happy to just sacrifice their... sacrifice their bombers to kill these. So you need to always have a fighter up. If you see people play 3rd Armoured, they do the same thing. So Mr. Bean versus Jiatsin. So 25 kilometers, 30 kilometers. So the Jiatsin is actually better. It's the same with the self-propelled versions as well. Because the range is important. I think he would have been better off going this way. He underestimated the range. But once he'd... Yeah, you should have reversed behind this to break the LS, but... Yeah. So, this is very optimistic. You need... you don't want to just be tanking these AT shots, because what happens is you start routing, and then you get a side shot, or a plane comes and kills you. What's he doing? So that not hitting him was very lucky. It wouldn't have killed him, but it would have done a lot of damage. And the reason it was lucky... So because he got hit by the AT, his cohesion's low, and that lowers your turn speed by 50%, which is sort of a big deal when there's an ATGM coming towards you and your side armor is 10 less than your front armor. So that's why it's not great tanking all those AT rounds, because they suppress you. But look, he's got the Igloo with it. It's on the right order now. The Spetsnaz beats the Saperi RPO. Although, to be honest, if... Oh, he ran out of ammo. Okay. He's got the OP with it for the AT, because look, the BTR comes in to kill the Spetsnaz, and that's why you always have a Spetsnaz OP with the Spetsnaz. The Rocket 3 can one-pass heavy tanks. And Red doesn't have a fighter up. He did try sneaking around. You need to shift-click it. Oh, you got evac by the stress. I see what happened. You got evac by the stress. So the Tunguska's kind of worked there. I guess Dom 100, does it get good anti-tank? I should really know this, but I skipped out on the deck review. I did that classic just watch the pro guide thing, and now I've forgotten. So that's very bad statistical analysis from me. But yeah, because I know like 1Y, 17Y, they get those high altitude bombers, but it definitely gets an AT Su-25. Which he should bring, really, because that rocket one is nice, but you want to bring both, because if you open with the rocket thing at the start, it doesn't have the AT missiles. All this is visible in the pro guide. So that, obviously, is not great. It doesn't have smoke on it, and that's why the Strela 10M can be useful, because you can keep it closer, and you don't sort of break the bank when it dies. So when I made the pro guide, which I've been shilling extensively, this unit wasn't in the game. It's a double AT for 30 points. It is militia, which is annoying, but it has good optics. And it is very, very necessary for Don, because its infantry AT is not good. Like, this still only has 4 HP, but at least it's got something now that can actually, like, properly whack tanks. Yeah. So, that was the APS. But the APS, you know, it's got an accuracy, it doesn't always fire. And, yeah, this is going pretty bad for blue. If you're going to play Don 100, you need to use smoke mortars. So yeah, you outwit the Saperi RPO again there. The BTR-8 is still hunting for him, but he's got the Spetsnaz OP, but he's not... How fast will he notice? So yeah, the T-60... Look, the APS intercepted it. I bring these at no vet, because sometimes you do need all 5 of them. I think this is a really good showcase of why I bring them at no vet. Oh, so you didn't... but you moved this... Oh, it's on defensive, it's doing it itself. Okay. Because sometimes you need all 5. So you don't want to bring those at 1 vet, in my opinion. Obviously, if you know what map you're playing on and what the matchup is, maybe you don't need that many, but if you're going into ranked. So... This tank's got a bail, and he is bailing. That's good. You know, a lot of people, they get this kind of, oh, I need 1 more victory point, and then they lose their 285 point tank. Right, so don't be like that. I did recently have a game where I lost by 1 victory point, because it was like tournament rules and all this, and so if I had left my tank in there for a little bit longer, we would have won. But usually that doesn't happen. So, yeah, these are Krana MVD guys, I don't bring them, I think they're a waste of time, because you've already got so many things that are anti-infantry. That little squad got caught out. But basically, if you're blue, you need to be abusing the smoke mortar, because the tanks at range are going to mess you up. So you should be smoking like there, so that you can sit in these buildings, right, without getting shot. He's getting hosed. So, yeah, going well for red. He's done a good job of getting the recon up to here, because now he can see everybody coming in. And so the kind of, you know, the fool's errand, is what most people do, is they're here, and they're just like, I'm going forwards, and they, and they just charge a bunch of infantry into here, which you should be, you know, you should have infantry there, that is how you get the CV in. But the real way to take the zone is to take this, right? Because not only does that protect Fedor, because otherwise they smoke the corner, but if you own this, then, you know, this tank, I mean, you should move it up to here, really, because he's worried about bombers. They can't use this road to reinforce, so it gets really difficult to reinforce. And then you increase the pressure from the front. Like, you should have a couple units here to start with. You roll up this way, take this. Obviously, it depends what division you have. So ThreeSix is playing, you know, the heavy tank div that doesn't get a lot of infantry. So it is, you know, it's very necessary for him to do it this way. You use your big tanks in the open, and that allows you to cut the reinforcements. Because you can't, if it was just infantry versus infantry and both sides can reinforce, Don 100's going to win. Because its infantry's better, he gets more of it. He's going for this, but to be honest, ThreeSix has done a pretty good job of having lots of overlap in Tunguskas. The main criticism I would make of what he's doing here is that he should always have an Su-27 up here. Because if he was playing against a guy with a better deck, or a guy in a different division with more bombers, this would be dead. And maybe the bomber that killed it would be dead, but this would be dead, and it's very expensive. You don't get very many of them. So you always need to have that fighter up. And that's why Blue has his fighters up, because he wants to kill Red's fighters so that he can use his stuff, right? You cannot just rely on the Tunguska, because the Tunguska doesn't have the range to intercept the bomber before it kills your tank. It can only avenge it. Now, in this case, a very slow-moving Su-25, which isn't the AT one, it's the rocket one. So obviously, the rocket one can still kill the tanks, but he's going on the AA. With it being slow and everything, not having a lot of range, he's in a fortunate position. But if you were against a div with, like, let's just say Ersterline Commando for, you know, just for an example, you're just going to get hosed by, the bomber's just going to come and kill you, and you'll kill the bomber and he just won't care because his bomber costs half as much as your tank. And he gets about as many bombers as you get tanks. So this has, oh I see it's out of ammo. He's doing well with the supply, keeping the supply with it. And you'll notice he has, I assume intentionally, but you know, it has worked out this way anyway. Ah, yeah, so sometimes these kind of bug out, so he loaded it up, but it doesn't have the shift queued move order. So typically, you know how it turns there? I don't know how big your screen is. You need to look at which way it's facing, and then go in that direction. It's not always easy to make that call, but the idea is the fact that it turns can get it killed, because it's turning on the spot while the rounds are coming in on that spot. So, something to keep in mind. But yeah, he's cut the reinforcements, right? So now it's very hard for Blue to reinforce, and now he's just running at him from the front. So it's a pretty textbook case of how to play the div, actually. The only thing is the fighter, not having the fighter up. Because his opponent, for whatever reason, doesn't bring the Su-25 AT, and has only just discovered that he has helicopters. And so usually his tanks would be getting sniped by bombers here. Oh yeah, this is the issue of being low cohesion. And then when you rout, you show your side armor like a watermelon, and if that had hit him, it would have done a lot of damage. It wouldn't have killed it. It would have done a lot of damage. So, yeah, cohesion management is very important. Basically, as soon as it's red cohesion, you want to leave. Unless its purpose is to... notice how that target switched there. Unless its purpose is to scout with its face so that something else can do the killing. Once it gets to red cohesion, you just want to go back. What you can do, advanced cohesion management now, is put this there, the CV will upvet it, and then it'll get its cohesion back faster. And then you can move it out. Also, that, you know, the heals could come in on both of them, but the main thing is the tank lives. Oh, he's bought the Su-27. He hasn't shift queued it in move order, so now it's just going to fly over the enemy side of the map. Thankfully, the enemy's Never M, which was here, got sniped by the Mr. Beans, so he's gonna make it. Generally, right, if you've got RT, you always want to prioritize enemy AA. Because it dies easy. So, miss micro on the SC-27. You want to keep it back here. Like, you don't want to engage these fighters because they're kind of broken. Oh, he got it. He went down to the corrected shot, double Jiatsin hit. Yeah, it is what it is. I can't remember what I was saying now. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. But yeah, it's going well in that, look, he's round the side here and Blue just can't get in. He's got all these units and he can't bring them in. And you know, these are Krana MVDs. Like, if you want anti-infantry, bring the Oman, which he brings anyway. You do not need these. They don't have anti-tank. Like, you'll notice there was a point, well, just then, before this died, where he had Okrana MVDs in here the whole time. And he couldn't kill the tank, because they don't have AT. So, I don't think it's a good idea to have... Basically, Don 100 has, like, too many anti-infantry options for 1v1. In a team game, it's great, you just bring them all, right? Or it's 10v10, I'm going to play in the town, I'm going to bring all the anti-infantry options, right? But for 1v1, over-specialization is generally a mistake, especially if you're going into ranked, because you don't know what map you're going to get. Anyway, he needs a BRM-1K with these, like always. Before, he sent a BRM-1K around here. That's the wrong move, it should be a BRDM-2. Because that's cheaper and faster. The BRM-1K goes with the tanks. And, like, he can't see these. If he could see them, he would have killed them. Because this only has good optics, whereas the BRM-1K has exceptional optics, so it's much better at that job. He's still not bringing any, it's a shame. And now he's buying one more CV. He should buy the BRM-1K. And, yeah, so you'll notice, because he's here... he can't bloody see, so he's getting side shot. He kind of got a bit lucky there. That, you know, it didn't hit him. Didn't hit him on this one. At the very least, he should move this up to here. Because he's just getting rinsed and he can't see anybody. You should buy like 2 BRM-1Ks because one will die and then you got to wait for the other one to show up, which just takes ages. So, yeah, Blue getting way too much value out of these T-62s. He goes on the mortar, that's smart. Doobie counter battery and the mortars. AA and artillery are the main things your artillery should be shooting. Counter battery in the mortars has never been easier. It's never been easier. You just press the counter battery button and it kills it. Yeah, neither player has CVs next to his RT. At this point, you'd expect him to have the CVs. But yeah, this is looking really good for Red. He's just got to buy the CVs. And he's got this one. He needs to BRM-1Ks. Maybe he bought them all and they'll die. I don't know. Oh, he's not paying attention. This has run out of bullets. Oh, they're reloading. So if you interrupt the salvo, it's got salvo here. If you interrupt the salvo, then give it an attack order, it will Is it like rear armor or something? It should have. Maybe it was. This was shooting an ATGM at it. That's probably what's happening. This was shooting an ATGM at it, and then it sort of freaked out. So. Why doesn't he bring the bear cut? Anyway, that... Ooh, yeah. So, yeah, Red really having some trouble closing this game out. Like, he's done most of the work. He's just messing up here. Like, you don't actually have to come over here. You just need to sit there. I mean, I understand, right, but being here is very rough, because you're going to get shot by all these buildings. So if you're going to go for that, you want to sort of do this, right? Anyway, he's killed the Bellasaur. I don't really see what Blue does now, and I get the impression he doesn't either. He's just got a bunch of guys in the transports. I guess he wants to YOLO into here. And Red just doing that timeless classic where you buy one CV on Black Forest it dies, because of course it dies, and then you buy one CV on Black Forest, and then it dies, and it's like, and then 3 minutes later the next one shows up, and that gets sniped as well. So you've got the 70-point CVs, you should be buying those, you know. So it's pretty obvious what Blue's plan is here. 2 mortars for smoke, a bunch of anti-infantry, but no anti-tank. Oh no, actually these guys do have anti-tank. I get the Ursula and the Oman mixed up. And he's going to smoke this and run in. I don't watch it ahead of time, it's just that, I mean, given what he has here, it makes sense. Guy's very high rank. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell the story. So, I was playing against this guy, it was a long time ago. And we were on Hesse Duel, and he ran out of CVs, and he'd taken the whole map, but he ran out of CVs, and then he got really salty at me and started using, you know, Chinese swear words at me, because I wouldn't surrender, because I knew he was out of CVs, and so he just sat there for like 5-10 minutes. It was on Hesse Duel. He was in my spawn, and I just sat there waiting for the clock to run out and got a draw. He didn't have any CVs, so he couldn't cap the last zone because I'd sniped his last CV. So yeah, I learned some Chinese insults that day. I thought that was really funny, actually. Sadly, the game is not on the channel. I should have cast it immediately, gone back and cast it. Anyway, yes, good to send the BRDM2s around the side, try and get that arty, try and intercept things. So the big push is starting now. So yeah, he never gives up, he never says GG. He's, yeah, just flames you, I guess. At least that's been my experience of him, yours may vary. And yeah, I guess he's relying mainly on his fighters. Okay, well, yeah, I mean, so if you're red in that case, right, that was really dumb. Especially as he did the same thing here, and the same thing happened. The purpose of your fighters is to keep your T-80Us alive, right? And when he came in over here, 3 fighters showed up and killed his fighters, right? This is in a really good spot, by the way. He's getting nice hits there. He's you know, he's unloaded some guys, he's killed some guys. If they die in the transport, you know, doesn't always show up here. So, yeah, and it's like, well, there's helicopters. You have an Igla here, Tunguska here, Tunguska here. What's that helicopter going to do? It's going to fly over here, the Tunguska's going to shoot it. So you don't have to die for whatever. But yeah, here we go, he's unloading his BTR-80s. The Pulmachiki was in a good spot, the Motostrelki was in a good spot. And he's hitting the mortars, very intelligent. BRDM2 around the side, he's counter-pushing here. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff. Rarely do I get the opportunity to compliment the people whose games I cast. Usually it's like, please stop being retarded. But, you know, I'm very critical of myself as well, so it's fair. It's like those people who are, like, hilariously racist, and they're like, I'm racist to everybody, so it's okay. And it's like, well, it's not really how it works, but okay. Anyway, he will probably struggle to get in here. He doesn't know what's in there, though, so I don't blame him for trying. And yeah, he sent the T-80U over. He's got to be very careful here. He's going to get shot in the arse. He knows there's infantry in here, so you got to be very careful there. This is coming for the Mi-24V. And what do you know? There's some Tunguskas here that's denying the enemy air, so you don't have to YOLO a fighter over here, and you know, it is what it is. And there you go, there's the surrender. Maybe he said GG to him. So, 3-6, rank 144. VDFNKF, this is DD1883, rank 7, 90% win rate. So, yeah, the Don 100, you got to play it in a very specific way, I think. Probably a decent matchup for the 119Y play, but honestly, the Don 100 guy really didn't help himself. He didn't bring any AT planes, and then it's like, oh, I can't kill these tanks. So it's strange, isn't it? Anyway, I'll see you around. GG.